Stop that. Sorry. David Clarke is waiting by right now, and he's going to bring sanity to this set. He's going to basically anchor this for us. Great to see you, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good.
Excellent. What do you make of this?
Look, you know how much I wish I paid in federal taxes? Zero. And I bet most Americans feel that way. This tax code is all screwed up. Everybody knows it. Look, anytime that within this difficult and complex tax structure, you can find loopholes, you should do that. So this doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, and like Donald said, it makes them smart. I wish I could afford those kind of attorneys. That's all that could take my taxes and get my federal tax, withholding and everything, and get it down to zero. That's what all Americans should be paying in federal taxes, zero.
There does seem to be a disconnect today between the mainstream media and how middle of America feels about this election, about the issues that matter to them. So we're talking about the story and Donald Trump's taxes. How do you think the media is going to handle this from here? Are they going to use this as an attempt to maybe try to take down Donald Trump? How do you see this playing out?
Well, look, none of this is working anyway. To me, this is a sign of desperation by the liberal mainstream media. These rags like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and others are throwing everything they can. I've referred to it to Donald Trump's strategy as a Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope. He's laying against the ropes. They're throwing everything they have. At some point, they're going to tire it out, and then the American people on November 8th are going to fire back, and they're going to knock the liberal mainstream media out in terms of their influence over the American public and their politics.
So if Donald Trump is so corrupt, you'd imagine that every federal lobbyist in D.C. would be giving him money, don't you think? But is that happening?
Well,
wait, none are.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that Donald Trump is corrupt anyway. Look, he's in that rare air, if you will. His income status, Washington D.C. Those folks in that environment, the Beltway bubble. That's what life is like. Donald realizes that you have to play that game if you're going to get anything done.
Well, Sheriff Clarke has strong opinions. He's sticking around. A new study just revealed murder is far worse for African Americans under President Obama. Should Donald Trump continue to tout law and order on the campaign trail? We're going to discuss that.
And then a very serious story from the Augusta Washington Post, a new push to ban dog costumes on Halloween. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out that boy dogs are now being dressed as firemen. Girl dogs, if you're even ready for this, are dressing up as nurses. It's sexist. It's got to stop. And we're gonna... Welcome back. We are still joined by Sheriff David Clarke. We couldn't let him go. He tried to leave. Please don't go. So, Sheriff Clarke, there is chaos going on in America's cities. The press is trying to downplay it. But we've seen it before. 45 years ago, there were riots in over 100 cities in April of 1968. Richard Nixon elected November that year, and there wasn't another riot for over a generation. Do you think Trump, if elected, just by his presence, will stop the chaos?
There's no doubt in my mind. Look, Donald Trump cares about all people. He's going to heal this racial divide in this country. He realizes that we focus too much on race in America. I mean, what's going on in these great American cities, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, homicide is up. Chicago, it's off the charts. If this were happening in some third world country, we'd call it genocide. But apparently to people like Barack Obama and Black Lives Matter, Black lives do not matter when it comes to murder. And I think that's a shame.
Well, there's a new study out this morning, which is why we wanted to get your take on this, showing that murders among African Americans are on the rise. You can see just the graph there, how high it has gone just in those years. You think about, though, it's been almost 8 years now under an African-American president, 2 African-American attorney generals as well. And there was a thought 8 years ago that, if anything, that he would be the president that could bring order to this country, that he could bring people together, that he could help calm things down a bit. Here we are 8 years later, and it seems like right now is worse than it's been in a very long time.
You know, we were all hoping that, including me. I thought maybe we'd get into this actual, post-racial period of America, but in fact, the opposite happened. But the reason why the opposite happened is because Barack Obama and others started to fan the flames of racial discord in this country for political purposes. They've done it for a long time. And it's really a shame that, good, decent, law-abiding black people that are stuck in this plantation, the new plantation called the American ghetto. I mean, the other 2 nights ago, a 4-year-old child was shot and killed in Milwaukee. There were no riots, there were no demonstrations. And also when this happens with other good law-abiding Americans. And look, this isn't all black people. This is the behavior of the black underclass. They are culturally dysfunctional, where they'll settle disputes with violence. They'll take property by force and engage in those sorts of behaviors. But the police are needed in these areas, and the police need to be assertive. The police are under attack, and so they have become less aggressive than they need to be in these cities to save these good law-abiding black people and give them some sort of a peaceful existence. But as long as we're going to allow these folks to continue to bash the police with this anti-cop rhetoric, you're going to see that disproportionately more black people are going to be victimized by this than anybody else. This is a shame. This is what these liberal rags like the New York Times editorial board, Washington Post, and others should be focusing on. And instead, you know, they want to play politics. They want to try to bring Donald Trump down. This isn't going to work. But, you know, the thing is, this has been an ugly chapter in America. And who would have thought that after the election of the first black president, the next president is going to have to come along and deliver a Gettysburg-type address to bring the country back together and heal this racial divide?
Yeah. That would be great if someone did that. Sheriff, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks for summing things up so crisply, as you always do.
Thanks for being here. Good to see you.
Blue lives matter.
All right, coming up, terrorists causing car crashes in the name of Allah. The report